Hey, Heart Nation. Hey. Hey, Heart Nation. It is Carla J, your host of Carla's channel, Heart to Heart Inspiration. And we are ready for another episode of the podcast. So, this podcast series I am calling, this is going to be the Heart to Heart Real Talk, REEL. So, Heart to Heart Real Talk. And so I know that may sound kind of corny, but I thought it was cute. If you like the name, put a yes or no in the chat if you like the name. So this series is going to be called Heart to Heart Real Talk, REEL. Getting it wrong myself. Heart to Heart Real Talk. So thank you for joining, and put where you're calling from. I saw Doris has joined the room. Hi, Doris. Queen Sugar, hi. And calling from the South Side, Queen Sugar says, all right, yes, REEL. Yes, talk. Hi, Rosalind. Thanks for joining. Yes, come on in the room. Come on in the room. So with this stage, this is like a continuation of the Detroit Filmmaker Awards, except with one little hitch. Okay. So during that time, for a whole month, I interviewed a lot of different directors, actors, actresses who were nominated and some who were not nominated for the Detroit Filmmaker Awards. So now, what I am going to do, I am going to be talking about some of those movies that was nominated or won. We're going to actually break it down, because during that time of the Detroit Filmmaker Awards segment, we were just talking about a little bit about how they got started and what that win or nomination meant for the city of Detroit. But now I'm going to actually, not me, we are going to be actually breaking down some of these movies. And the first one I am so excited to talk about. This is called The Stranger in Our House. Hey, Doris from California. This is The Stranger in Our House, and it is by Renika McQueen. And I want to just give a disclaimer that this is going to be a spoiler alert. So, hey, Big Dog Blake. Hey, calling from Vegas. This is going to be a spoiler alert. So, if you have not watched the series, we're going to be talking about it. So, I want you to have watched it. Okay. So, now we don't want to ruin it for you, right? But we're going to be talking about it. We're going to break it down. So we're going to be giving away some of the things that happened in the movie. So spoiler alert is out there. Okay. And then also I'm going to be doing something a little different. So for those who like, subscribe, and follow and come on consistently, you're also going to have a chance to join the stage with me. So if you've been rocking with me for a while and you are constantly putting things in the chat, you're going to get an opportunity to come to the stage. So what that means is, as we are talking about some of these films, I'm going to ask you if you want to come to the stage. And just like when I was doing my interviews, that means that you can be on the stage on camera, okay? And I would send you the link and you could join. And it doesn't have to be done ahead of time. It could be done like now. So when we get started, and if you put in the chat, hey, I want to join on stage to give some feedback about the film, then I will send you the link. You send me your email, and then I will send you the link. Now, there is a way to do a private chat, but I got to figure that out. So we'll work on that part. But I want to give you all an opportunity to get on the stage with me so we can have some great dialogue. All right. So Rosalind says, first Chicago, South Side, now Henderson, Nevada. Baby. Okay. Yes. Thank you, Rosalind, for joining. South Side, born and raised, maybe, and then now Henderson. Okay, we got it. And then Rich is calling from Las Vegas. All right, thanks for joining. So, with no further ado, we're going to play the trailer of The Stranger in Our House. And you may see me looking down a little bit because I do have my notes down here, I have my cue cards that I am reading from. Okay, y'all see my cue cards? Got my logo on there. I thought it was pretty cute. If you like it, throw a heart in the chat. So I'm going to be looking down a little bit sometimes, looking at my notes. Okay, so here we go. And I'm working from a different computer today. So bear with me a little bit. Let's see here. And here we go. Thank you. Okay, now it's always hard. Okay, let's see here. Okay, you're going to see everything that's on the sides on the YouTube channel because I cannot take it off at the moment. So here we go. Oh, and I do want to say who's in The Stranger in Our House. So it's directors Renika McQueen, Kamal Smith, and then you have some of the cast members. Grover McCants, he plays the father, Donald Brown. You have Sheila Scott, who plays the mother of Pearl Brown. You have Rosie Sanchez, who plays, she is Catherine Martinez. She plays the good friend. And the main character, Derek Brown, is Brian Karstafen. And so you're going to see all these, and there's some more people in there in the movie as well. So I'm just so excited to play it. Okay. So here we go.
And I have a name for a person. No more composite sketch guy. His name is Derek. Derek Brown.
When I get a chance to call him, I'm gonna tell him exactly how much of a monster that son really is. My whole world is falling apart. Whatever you done got yourself wrapped up in so tightly, you need to let it go. This is your family. This is your father.
What exactly did he say?
You don't want to know. Calm down, friend. Justice will prevail.
Yeah, justice better prevail, or I'm going to jail.
Yay. All right. Let me stop sharing. All right. Yay. I hope you all were able to hear it. I asked in the chat if you're able to hear it. So I hope y'all were able to hear it. So let's dive in. Okay. So we're talking about Stranger House, and we're going over episodes 1 through 3. So for the first episode, it's called The Introduction, but I renamed it The Jail Visit. So hold on. Okay. How about that now? So I renamed it The Jail Visit. So Rich says, show it again. That was the movie. That was the movie. Were you able to see it? It was small. I didn't have it. Couldn't figure out how to get it big this time because I'm not on my usual computer. So hopefully you all were able to see it. Okay. All right. Let's see. So hopefully you all were able to see it. So episode 1. So this is the jail visit. Okay. So the mom and dad are driving up to the jail, but you don't really know what's going on when it first starts. It's just they're in this truck and they're driving up, and the mother, Pearl, is like, okay, God, we here, we gotta go in, and talk, but you don't know what's going on. And so then she goes in to see her son, and she's talking to him, and she's like, what happened and all of this, and you could trust me. And then what happens? Who knows what happens next? Put it in the chat. He drops a bombshell. What did he do? What did he say? It was like jaw-dropping to me. He was, she was like, oh, son, I don't know why they saying these things that you did. You wasn't raised like that. I know it's not true. But tell me, son, And then he says, you gonna love me when I finish telling you? Oh, yes, baby, I'm gonna love you. It's safe with me. And he was like, Mama, I did it. I did everything they said I did. What? She gets up, she's screaming, yelling, she's upset. She's like, what? What do you mean? He was like, I did it. I'm sick, Mama. I need help. And then he goes on to tell her something else that he did. Oh my goodness. Y'all put something in the chat on how y'all feel just about that part at first. Just even about that part of him saying, I did it. I did it. I did everything they said I did. So let's put yourself in Pearl's shoes. You're going to see your son or your daughter in jail, and you just, it's like they made a mistake. They don't have the right person, So I'm getting ready to go to this jail, see my child, and you go on for a visit, and you ask them straight up, did you do this? And then they say, I did it. I did it, Mama. I did all of that. Big Dog Blake said he innocent. I don't know what those little signs next to it say. But you're thinking he's innocent and he tells you, I did it. What do you think then? When he says, I did it, I did everything that they said I did. And he goes on to say some other stuff that he did that's really mind-blowing. What do you think of that? So how would you handle that? So, okay, Blake, so you saying that you would be thinking they made him say it. Okay, you would be thinking they made him say it. Hey, Vanna from Las Vegas. So you would be thinking they made him say it, but it's nobody in there in the room, in the interrogation room. It's just them two. And she starts screaming, and the guard comes and is like, what's going on here? And she was like, nothing, everything's fine. So what would you do though? You still think they made him say it? It's just y'all in the room, and he just being bold with it, he being bold with it. Now I have heard that, I do know that the phones are tapped, but I thought this is the first time I seen you could be in a room with somebody, but that's just my experience. But there are some places where you can be in the room with them. So I loved it. I love how Renika and Kamal put that in there, to give some more excitement, another lens to it. So I'm thinking if I go to see one of my children and they tell me that they did it and they said I did all the stuff they said, I don't know. I think all bets are off. I don't know if I can support you no more from that, by you saying that you did it. And then he goes on to tell her that he killed two other people that he said, and one is really close to the mom. Now I don't want to give it away if y'all don't know it. Put it in the chat if y'all know what he told the mama, the two other people that he said. Okay, Rich said, it's the mama that scares me. She accepted all his devilish acts. You better say that, Rich. I'm telling you, because that's scary to me. She up there, yelling and screaming, and just putting on a show like, oh my goodness, how could you? Queen Sugar says he told his mom that he killed all those women. I believed him that he killed them. You believed him, Queen Sugar? And Blake says, oh my goodness, no, he killed a lot of women. Oh my gosh. Yes, he did. That's what he said. That's what he said. Blake, yes, you got to watch it. But I gave the disclaimer at the beginning. This is a spoiler alert. So we are definitely talking about what happened. And Queen Sugar says she believed him that he killed all those women. So we're going to get into that because it breaks it down. So at the beginning of the movie, it starts off with them visiting him in the jail. And then this is what transpired. So he told her that he killed 2 more people that was very close to the mother. I'm not going to say it on here. Y'all got to put it in the chat. So I know that y'all know what I'm talking about. I don't want to give it away if y'all don't know. So then, you know, she yelling and screaming. The guard comes and she leaves out. She's so hysterical. Okay, Queen Sugar, I see you. Somebody know what happened. Somebody know what happened. Somebody watched it. Okay, somebody watched it. Y'all got to read the comments in the chat. And so that was the part that took me out. The part that Queen Sugar put in the chat. When he told her this, he said, I killed so-and-so and so-and-so. And he said, the reason why I killed my own flesh and blood is because she was mean. She was a bully. She was heartless. Now, apparently they had never found the body of his flesh and blood, his own flesh and blood. And so they've been looking, but now he didn't told her this. He also told her about it was that he also killed somebody else, but that was unintentional. So it's crazy. And she ran out screaming and yelling. Okay. So then when she gets out to the lobby, the husband says, what happened, Pearl? What's wrong? And, you know, she's like, oh, let's leave. Let's leave. So they left. And so at home, you know, she's all calm and everything. She's giving him some coffee or whatever it is. And he was like, you go get your rest. But tomorrow I want to know what Derek told you. So that let us know right then and there that she did not tell him. She did not tell her husband what he told her. Now, let's just pause right there. I see all the comments in the chat, but let's just pause right there. Would you have told your husband right then and there, or would you have taken a break, thought it over, and then told him? I want to hear what y'all got to say now. What would you have done? Come on, I got some mamas in this group. I know I do. I know I got some mamas here. Would you have told your husband? Because I know as mothers, we do a lot of things. We protect our children. You know, we believe them. We know they did stuff, but we won't say nothing about it. We won't tell nobody. We'll keep it to ourselves sometimes. But on the other hand, I know there's some people who have, some mothers who have had to turn their children in for certain things. I've seen it on the news. So I don't want to assume that everybody would do like Pearl did in the movie. But tell me, what would you do? What would you do if it was your child and they told you this? Put it in the chat. Put it in the chat. What would you do as the mother and somebody told you this? I want to know what you got to say. So Queen Sugar says she believed that he killed them, and she put the answer to the question in there. Doris says he did it. I think it was a call for help to his mother. Because, and Queen Sugar agrees. Now, what make y'all say you think it was a cry for help? I will say, in one of the parts, he did say to her, because she said, we didn't raise you like this. You know, I'm a good woman. Your dad has worked hard all his life. And he was like rolling his eyes like, whatever. And then he said, but did you love me? Did you love me though? That struck to me. Did you love me? Now, I don't know about y'all, but sometimes these kids today, they can say things that hurt your feelings or to make you feel sorry for them. So it's sounding like to me, Doris and Queen Sugar think he really was saying it to try to get help from his mother. Y'all mean help to get out of jail or help like psychological help? Which kind of help y'all mean? Help clear that for me. And Richard said, I think it was another person helping him. Okay, all right. We'll see. Queen Sugar says that's a hard one. The husband is sickly. Well, he didn't, I don't know if he was sickly before this. He didn't seem sickly. He only seemed sickly to me. And maybe I'm wrong. He only seemed sickly to me once they had to release that sketch of Derek and then him, you know, getting picked up. or being, being a suspect. But Doris said, he said I'm sick, mental keep. Now he did say that. He did say I'm sick. Did y'all believe okay, y'all believe he was really sick, like mentally like that, or he just evil? I don't know if there's a difference. What y'all think? Is he sick, like mentally ill, or was he just evil? Or is that the same thing? I don't know. To me, I just think he was evil. I don't think it was no mental sickness, but that's just my opinion. Because maybe I'm just being hard, harder on him. But I don't know about all of that. But if it was your child, I still haven't seen an answer this question yet. If it was your child that told you that, you would tell the husband, not really. Queen Sugar, I think you leaning towards not telling the husband because you saying he was sickly. What y'all say? What everybody else say? Would you have told the husband? So let me see. For myself, would I have told my husband that one of my children said they did all this? Now, what he was accused of was rape and murder and all of that. And he asked her, could you keep a secret? Are you going to tell anybody? And she had told him before he told her all this that she was going to keep the secret. So I guess if you're looking at it from that point of view, that if you don't tell if you say you're going to keep the secret, then I guess you will have to keep the secret. I guess I could see that. Okay. So anyway, the time goes on, and then the only thing he keeps talking to his mother about, and then he called his father and asked him about the bail. He said, the father said, what did you tell your mother that got her so upset? And he said, she's upset about the bond money, trying to get this bond money to get me out of here. And see how that manipulative behavior. So now what I think he was really trying to do was just trying to see if his mother told him or not. So now he can see how he can manipulate some more, the mother and the father, and build, try to see, oh, she didn't tell him. So let me just keep harping on this. I need to get out of here. So Queen Sugar says he's a psychopath, no feelings of remorse. Yeah, I wouldn't tell him. You wouldn't tell him? Okay, based on you said you were keeping a secret. I don't know now. Even psychiatrists and things like that, they have to tell the police stuff if it means harm, or something that has occurred or happened or imminent. Maybe if it's imminent. Y'all correct me if I'm wrong. But that's a hard one right there. So so the thing is that he kept harping on this money to get out of jail. And that's the thing that made me say, okay, now I can see if the wife didn't tell the husband, Derek confessed, he did all this horrible stuff. Let's say she didn't tell him, but did she have to keep going down the road of trying to get him out? I would just say, if he did all that and he told me, he's staying up in there. I may play like I'm trying to get him out, but I don't know if I would be really trying to get him out, because he did this to people. Now she know at this point it ain't no lie. He done told her who he murdered. Okay, he done told her he did all of this. I couldn't let him. I couldn't let him get out. But some of us mothers and our heart of gold, even when it's staring right at us, we will continue to help our children. Something to think about. I like how Renika put this in there, because it really pulls on your heartstrings. This is your child, but at what point do you cut those heartstrings? What point do you say, I can't go on with this no more? This was horrible. So he kept harping on getting your 401k, putting up the house. Really? That just tells you how much of a narcissist he really is. He don't care about nothing else. He just want to get out that jail. I did it, so what? Why? Because they were whores. They had it coming. Now we're gonna get into that. Now, so we talked about the confession. Okay, so now the mother, she didn't tell the father. Okay, so now the father visits. Okay, the father visits, and Queen Sugar says no, she wouldn't help him get out. Okay, you wouldn't tell the husband, but you also wouldn't help him get out. Okay, so now the father goes to see him. Okay, and they get a little. The guard is so funny. I love this part. The correctional officer came in and said, "Let me know if you need anything." And he said, "Oh no, we're not gonna need nothing." He said, "That's what everybody says." And then they end up needing something. I thought that was funny up in there. So then the father is talking to him, but he gets under the son, Derek gets under the father's skin because he is just still harping on, I need this money for you to get me out. And the father is going on and on about how great of a woman your mother is, how she's emotionally strong. That's why I picked her. So let's pause right there. And the son says, I know, yeah, she is strong. Okay. Is this, as women, as mothers, is it really considered emotionally strong because we can hold on to family secrets? That's the question I have right now. Are we considered emotionally strong just because we can hold on to family secrets? You know, the mothers are the bearers of a lot of secrets that happen throughout the family line, the family generation. And we keep on going. We keep the family together. We keep on going. But are we also the problem also? So let me hear your answers to that. Are we considered emotionally strong because we can keep these secrets and keep the family going? And is it really doing our families any good by us doing that? Is it really? I want us to think about that. Put your thoughts in the chat. Okay. And so then because you see a lot of movies, you hear a lot of people saying that things have happened to them, their mothers didn't believe them, or they didn't do anything about it. So we are the keepers of a lot of secrets. Okay. All right. And so then he talks to the roommate. All of this is in episode 1. All of this is in episode 1. He's talking to the roommate and he confesses to the roommate. And the roommate, now, what did y'all think about this? Because I'm thinking that the roommate is really a decoy and is probably, working for the detectives, working for the police, so that he can get him a deal on something. And so Derek, he's like, yeah, whatever. What is it to you? And then he said, I'm gonna tell you, but then I have to kill you. And the other inmate is like, you ain't doing nothing to me. But lo and behold, what happens? What happens? Y'all got to put it in the chat for me. What happens? So he tells the roommate what happened and what he did. And I found that interesting because if you're in the jail, or if you know anything about the jail, or if you've watched, movies, courtroom TV, any of that, you know that when somebody is in the jail and you tell them things, they can actually go back and report it and they will bring them to testify against you. I've seen it happen. So they will bring them to testify against you and they can say that you did that. And sometimes they can get a plea deal or something off their sentence. Sometimes maybe not, but it does happen. So what did he do? He got rid of the witness. He said, So, but then he goes to see the warden, and the warden knows he did it for real, but can't prove it, right? So, I just like how this kept going on and on about, all the things that he was doing. He killed people in the outside. He killed somebody in the jail, and now he's trying to get out. And so he's telling his parents, I miss my apartment, my bed. Like, really? That's like entitlement. What y'all think about that? Are our kids entitled today? Do they act like they're entitled? Let me know what you got to say about that in the chat. If you got kids and they just act like they're entitled sometimes, like he was doing, like, I want my apartment and my bed. What? Really? Are they entitled? I would say this is an entitled generation out here. They just want what they want. They want it fast. They want quick money, and they're not trying to work it. Yes, Queen Sugar, he sure did. Y'all can look and see what Queen Sugar said. He killed his Sally. He killed his Sally. And because he knew that if he got a chance to testify, he was going to say it against them. But now they just got to prove that he killed them. He killed his Sally. And so, but it shouldn't be that hard to prove. But I'm just going to just be honest with you. There's instances of this that happens every day in the jail where somebody is found hanging, you know, and it's been plenty of times where the roommate was not charged or was not found guilty. Okay. So that does happen. Although you would think it's like a no-brainer that the cellie did it, but it can't always be proved that that happened. So, you know, that's something else that we could say he got away with so far. And so, you know, going back to his entitlement, and then, you know, the mother just goes back. Okay, let's see. Laverne says she has a theory. Her theory is the father isn't really his father, and that's why he hates women because his mother has had an affair on her husband. Uh-oh. Watch out now. Okay, let me read that again for the people in the back. The father, Laverne says, her theory is the father isn't really his father, and that's why he hates women because his mother has had an affair on her husband. Wow. Okay, Laverne. I actually was thinking along those lines, but not all the way like you did. I was thinking like, because it's sometimes during the conversation, you know, he'll say, well, he my son too, or I love him too. You know, and you know, so Laverne says, not if it isn't your secret to tell. Okay. So I like that because why is the mother holding on to this? Why is she protecting him like this? It gotta be something. So I like that theory that you said, Laverne. I like that because he definitely has a hatred for women. Okay, we doing some profiling up in here now, y'all. Okay, Laverne, with the profiling going on, detective. We doing some profiling. So there's a reason why he hates women. What he said, he hated his sister because she was a bully and she was heartless to him. And he wanted to cut her heart out. That's what he said. Now that's cold right there. Do y'all think the sister, let me go back to y'all. Do y'all think the sister really was doing this to him? Or is he just making this up? What y'all think? Y'all think the sister was really doing this to him? Was really bullying him and treating him horrible to the point where he wanted to cut her heart out? What y'all think? Put it in the chat. Let me know what y'all think. Put it in the chat. And then the mother goes along to her best friend's house, who he has already stated that he killed the little girl, and that was by accident. But she's over there having coffee with her, acting like nothing's wrong and everything. What y'all think about that? I mean, people do it every day. They sure do. Smile in your face. What's that song? They smile in your face and all the time backstabbing you, or, you know, got secrets and stuff that they know. But she's over there just talking to her like ain't nothing happened. Okay. So that takes us to the end of episode 1. And that was a lot. What did y'all think of episode 1? Put something in the chat, like a 1 through 3 of what y'all thought about episode 1. You gave it a 1 because it was poor. You gave it a 2 because it was fair, or did you give it a 3 because it was great? So a 3 if it was great, a 2 if it was fair, and a 1 if it was poor. Put it in the chat. What you gave it. I'm gonna put it in here. Okay, Shanice, you got to get caught up now. Yes. Okay, I'm gonna put it in here. What y'all think? What is your rating of it? 1 is poor, 2 is fair, 3 is good. It's great. What y'all think? Okay, Richard said he gave it a 3. Okay. I gave it a 3. I gave it a 3. I thought it was good. What y'all think about the acting? Y'all thought the acting was good? That's why I'm just overall a 3 for me. I thought the acting was good. I thought the storyline was good. You know, just the actor Derek, who was playing the son, I thought he did a phenomenal job of how he could turn it on and off. You know, one minute he's smiling, you raised, don't go thinking it's you, mom. Don't go blaming yourself. I just need some help. And then he was like, when you gonna get that money to get me out of here? You know, I loved it. And so then we go to episode 2. Queen Sugar said she gave it a 3 also. All right, so we got all 3s so far. So we go to episode 2, and it's almost time for us to wrap up, y'all. It's almost time. So we may not get to everything about the episodes. And if we don't, you still go out and watch it to the end. There are 5 episodes. So you still got more to go, and you got to get to the end. And Renika, during my interview with her in April, she said there is a season 2 coming. So you got to watch it. And she's wrapped up production of it. So it's coming soon. So episode 2, is entitled Bodies Everywhere. So this is where they get into talking about and showing us what really happened, how he murdered some of these women. So my first question is, he meets, and they talk about it, it's like 3 days earlier, okay? But he meets a girl in the bar. Derek meets a girl in the bar. And I mean, he's clean cut. He's looking good. He's not somebody that you would think is doing this right off the bat, right? So he meets a girl in the bar, and the girl says, what was the name of that drink, y'all? What did she say? What was the name of the drink she said she wanted? It was a flirty something, dirty or flirty. Which one was it that she said she wanted? And so the bartender came over and said, oh, yeah, y'all gonna, this gonna make you ready right here. And then she said, flirty motherfucker. I think that's what it is. Flirty MF. I think that's the name of it. And so she orders this drink, and they're flirting back and forth with one another. And she asks him, is it the big D or the little D? And he says the big D. So let's just pause right there. I'm going to ask this question, and it's no judgment. Do women make themselves a target when they are so vocal about sex with somebody they don't even know? We got a lot of sex trafficking going on, a lot of kidnapping, murders, all of that. Do you all feel that women make themselves a target when they are openly and so vocal talking about sex with somebody they don't know? Put your answer in the chat. What do you think? Do you think they are just making themselves a target? I know we think it's cute, and they could be cute and fine and got nice bodies and all of that. Nothing against any of that. But like she said in there, so you working with the big D or the little D? That right there said, I want to go home with you. And maybe it's okay. Maybe it's okay sometimes. But what do y'all think? Y'all think it is women make themselves a target with that? So let me know what you think. And did the bartender help? Was the bartender helping with that? Okay, so Rich says no. He doesn't think that women are making themselves a target when they are talking so vocal about sex. Okay, Rich, and that's coming from a man. That's coming from a man. So, Rich, can you put some more into that? Why you say that? What you think? Shanice said no. Okay, that's coming from a lady. So, okay, I like that. I like y'all responses. Put in the chat why y'all say that. We got it. And do somebody want to come on the stage? Does somebody want to come on the stage? Let me see if I can pull up this private chat. Rich says they're just a lot of talking show. Okay. So you don't believe them. It's just like, but she did go home with them. She actually did go home with them. She said, let's go back to my place because I'm more comfortable there. As if, and she said, and plus I can freshen up for you. So it's already established that they getting ready to get to it. She getting ready to get this big D, honey. She getting ready to get to it. And so does that, maybe she felt calmer or more safer because she was going to her place. But I like the comments. Shanice says, if it makes women a target, then it makes men a target as well. And we know men refuse to see the Marvels as targets, to see themselves as targets. Okay. Well, I will say that you don't see a lot of men getting kidnapped. You don't see a lot of men being sex trafficked. I'm not saying that they don't be. I'm not saying that at all. I don't know the statistics of it, but I'm just saying that there seems to be more of that going on. So that's why I'm asking, are women making themselves a target with that? Laverne says, I thought the writing was excellent. I did too. Shanice says, flirting is flirting. Some women and men are more vocal and straightforward than others. Okay. Um, Rich says the man is the one that is always in danger. Really? Okay, you got to tell us more about that, Rich. Break that down for us. Break that down. So, and do y'all think the bartender helped out with this? Was the bartender in on this? She didn't seem like she was drugged at this point. So I was just wondering, before, was the bartender in on this? Only because later in the episode, the bartender was questioned and she was real defensive. And maybe she was just scared. But what y'all think? Y'all think she was involved? Shanice says it doesn't make women making themselves the target. Men just need to control themselves. Uh-oh, watch out now, y'all. I think we got a debate coming on. Okay, Renika, if you're listening, you got a debate going now. So Shanice says men need to control themselves. But what if they're crazy and they can't control themselves, like this man right here? You're openly talking about sex. You don't know this man. You're asking him if he got a big D or little D, and then you take him to your place. Okay? And then what happens? Poor baby. She was murdered. They're in the middle of having sex, and then she's like, oh, I like this, like that. And then what happens? She gone. And so that doesn't happen all the time, of course, but it's just something to think about. And I think Renika did a good job of putting that out there and making us think about that, that point of view. So I and Rich says, I thought the woman invited him over. She did invite him over. She invited him over. So, okay, Rich, I like that you explained this a little bit more. You said that men often get robbed by meeting up with women. Oh, that is a great point right there. That is an excellent point right there. Okay, so now I understand what you mean by the men put themselves in danger. Okay, I can see that. Thank you for bringing that up. That's a whole nother topic right there. Okay, so then Shanice says the type of situation happens every day. That type of situation happens every day. The flirting aspect, not the dying aspect. That was just an unfortunate situation. So true. So true. So true. Okay. So you're saying it doesn't happen all the time, but how do you know it's going to be that one time that you don't get killed? Okay. Queen Sugar said men often get robbed by meeting up with women. That's the same thing Rich said. And I've been seeing a lot of that lately. In the news. Shanice says, yes, Queen Sugar, there's a movie I saw that shows that. Okay. Laverne says, no, she just wanted to know what he was working with. She just wanted to know what he was working with before she invited him over. That's what she wanted. She wanted to know. She didn't want her time wasted. Now, what man is going to tell you they got a little D? I don't know about y'all, but really, is a man going to tell y'all he got a little D? I don't know. I'm just saying. So anyway, it's about time for us to wrap it up. Shanice says curiosity killed the cat. Was that too soon? I finally got it, Shanice. I didn't get it at first. You said curiosity killed the cat. Oh my goodness, that is funny. It did. Literally, it did. Curiosity killed the cat. Hey, Joshua, thanks for joining. Joshua, you are a male. I don't know if you just joined, if you've been on, but we're asking the question: do women make themselves targets by being so vocal about sex? Because in this episode, the woman was saying, "Are you working with the big D or the little D?" You know, and she took the man home. Unfortunately, that was her last time getting some D. Okay. So then we're talking about the police detectives and then the church lady. So here's the part, y'all. Okay, we almost done with this episode, and then we're gonna shut it off. I don't even think we're gonna get to episode 3 today. But the church lady called Sister Pearl. Okay, the church lady seen it on the news. She saw this sketch that this man has been killing people and he's on the loose, and they're showing a sketch. Honey, she calls Pearl, the mother, to say, have you seen the news? You know, blah, blah, blah. And Pearl is like, no, what happened? Well, honey, they got a sketch of the man who's been killing the people. Pearl says, I hope they lock him up, throw away the key. And then the church lady say, well, it looked like your son. Now Pearl singing a different tune. What you mean it looked like my son? What you trying to say? That was hilarious to me because she wasn't expecting her to say that. Oh, wait a minute, I got to clear my throat. Woo, I got my wine, y'all. Woo, hold on 1 minute. I could have said it was apple juice. Or maybe it is apple juice, and maybe you don't know. But the church lady goes on to say that, you know, it looked like your son. Wine for the win. And so, you know, that sends her off. So then the neighbor calls the police, or the church lady. She calls the police, y'all, and tells them this. Would y'all have done that? Let me know. Let me see how many snitches we got in the chat. No, I'm just playing. You're not a snitch. You know, if you think it looked like somebody, that's your duty to do that. You know, I guess different circumstances, right? Or whatever you think that you need to do for your own sanity or for your own beliefs. And that's on you. Okay. But I'm just asking, I'm just curious. You know, what would you do if you thought it looked like your neighbor or the church lady's son? Would you have called the police? Okay. So now, the the son and got wind. Josh said he's telling. Josh said, you telling, Joshua, you telling. Okay, I ain't mad at you. You said you telling. Okay. All right, I'm with you on that. Who else said they telling? Get him out of here. Yes, yes. So now, you know, Derek, let's see. So now Derek gets wind that the neighbor, the church lady didn't say nothing. So what y'all think he do? What you think gonna happen when somebody find out you said something? I don't even know. So if she wouldn't have called she was being messy. Okay. She was being messy. She over there trying to let me tell you the tea, talking to Pearl and talking about her own child. You don't do that. Okay. You next. That's right, Josh. You are next. So when he got wind that she had called over there and said all that, you know, he paid her a visit, right? He paid the church lady a visit, honey. And he roughed her up pretty good. So my advice to y'all is, okay, if you're going to say something, keep your mouth shut. Don't go around telling people, you know, letting them know what you're going to do. Okay. So he gets to her real good. So now the police come back and they trying to talk to her again. And she like, I ain't got nothing to say. She, you know, but then here's the part. The police officer's daughter is going on a date. And the police officer is like, with who? You didn't tell me, you know, it's a murderer out here. And she was like, oh, Dad, I'll tell you everything about it. Now, y'all, if you're a police officer, and I think just recently he just had to tell their neighbor, right? Didn't he have to tell their neighbor that she was killed? Wasn't the neighbor found dead? The young girl? So this is close to home. This ain't across town somewhere, another state. This is next door that a girl was killed that you knew. And now your daughter's talking about she going with somebody that you don't know nothing about, and you telling her, I want his name, address, license plate, all that. Would you even let her go? Do y'all think he downplayed it? Josh says, damned if you do, damned if you don't. He could have been targeting her anyway. He sure could have been. He could have been targeting her anyway, for real. That is true. So the police officer, he's talking to his daughter, and he's like, I want to know this, I want to know that. But at the end of the day, she still went. And when the daughter was on the phone with her girlfriend, she said, what's his name anyway? I don't even know. And she said, Derek Brown. Okay, Joshua Brown, is he some kin to you? She said, Derek Brown. Now, if she would have told her father what his name was, he possibly could have, told her, warned her about something, but she didn't never get back to her father right away. So that's y'all, that's our time right there. That's the end of episode 2. What did you think of episode 2? Put it in the chat of your thoughts on episode 2. Did it keep the momentum going? Did it keep the momentum going? Did it die down a little bit? What are your thoughts of episode 2? And so on that note, we are going to close that segment up. Next, we were going to go to episode 3, but we ran out of time. So what that means is that you got to go and watch it on your own. You got to go and watch it on your own. Episode 1 through episode 5. Get all of them in if you haven't watched it already. And, let me know in the chat how you thought about that. Queen Sugar says, sometimes young people don't take these issues seriously. That's so true. It's so true. Put in the chat what are your thoughts of episode 2. Don't close out yet. Put that in the chat. And then, be careful out there. There's so much going on in the news. Pay attention. Tell your children to pay attention, and tell them to keep their phones charged. Okay. Keep their phones charged. I think that we're going to be in a car. We're going to have a chance to charge it up and things like that. But you never know. Keep your phones charged up and let people know who you're going to be with, where you're going. Share your location. Now, I know some of y'all think I don't need to share my location with my mama. Share it with somebody that we can get in touch with if we need to, if we're trying to find out something about you or get some news to you or something. Share it with somebody. Okay. It's too much going on out here. That's right. Joshua says, share your location with someone. I agree. So that is a wrap for this week's Heart to Heart Real Talk. And next week, we are going to be talking about another movie for our Real Talk. And this time, we are going to be talking about, our next one is going to be Lies and Loyalty. Lies and Loyalty. Okay. And that is by Tanja Ayers. So Lies and Loyalty is going to be our next movie. I'm going to put it in the chat. And make sure you watch that on Tubi. So we can talk about it, y'all. Don't come here and you haven't watched it. I mean, you can, but you're going to get the spoiler alert. I still want you to come. And I want you to subscribe and follow my YouTube channel and Facebook. We stream live to YouTube and Facebook. And sometimes Instagram if I can get it working right. But I'm not on my regular computer. I couldn't get it up today. So be sure to subscribe, like, and follow. And we'll see you here next week. Okay. And next week is going to be Lies and Loyalty. Okay. And we're going to see you then. Good night, Heart Nation. I enjoyed this so much. And we're going to close this out with my daughter singing her song. Okay. And let me just put that in there. All right. You all take care and tell a friend to watch.